Morning everyone, and welcome to day 4 of my 30-day strength challenge. I hope you're all enjoying it so far, and if you are only just joining us, then feel free to go back to the beginning and start from day 1. Today we're going to revisit what we did on day 1 in terms of strengthening our abdominal muscles, but of course with a different exercise. So when we were doing the plank, we were holding our abdominal muscles in a static position, so they were contracting but not actually moving. But we're going to progress that slightly more today, because the research indicates that in order to get the best training benefit, we need to do contractions while the muscle is lengthening out. So we're going to be contracting while lengthening the muscle, and therefore it's going to break down the muscles more and give us a bit more of a training benefit. So the benefits for this are obvious. So for example, if you're a runner and you rely on the abdominals in order to give you some postural stability, so you're holding that postural contraction all throughout the exercise, then that's obviously going to be a benefit. But we can also start to see the link now to other sports where you might use the abdominals in order to bring your knees up to your chest to aid in that contraction, or even bring your arms down to your feet. So some examples that stand out could be long jump or gymnastics, among of course many others as well. So the exercise that we're going to do is called the V-up. So you've probably heard of it before. So we're going to start off lying on our back, and I'm going to show you different levels for this exercise. So again, adjust depending on your ability. So I'll show you the sort of more advanced one to begin with. So we're going to start off obviously doing a quick posture check to make sure that our abdominals are engaged before we start, and that we're not actually using our back muscles. If we can, we're going to put our arms behind our head like this, and we're going to squeeze our abdominals, and we're going to bring our arms and legs up to meet in the middle. We're going to hold by balancing on our coccyx bone for a second or two, and then we're going to come back down again, and we're going to see how many of these you can do. So if this looks really daunting, don't panic, because I am going to adapt it for people who might not be as advanced as that. So you can adapt it to make it easier by moving the position of your arms, so you don't have to have the weight behind your head, because that's going to make the exercise harder. You can adjust it and bring your arms further forward, and then do the same exercise again. If that's still too difficult, then you can always bend your knees as you come up as well. So you come up and then you bend your knees. And if that's still difficult as well, then you can always scrap the upward phase altogether and just do the downward phase, because it's the downward phase which is the most important, because this is the bit where you're actually doing that lengthening that I talked about. So you can either just start with your legs up, or from your legs bent, and then come back down like so. If, however, you want a bit more of a challenge, then what you can do the more advanced one, but make it harder still by, when you come back down, just hover your heels above the floor for a few seconds and then come back up again. So you're not actually letting those feet touch the floor at any point. So as you can see, there's so many different ways you can customize this exercise depending on your ability. So just see how you get on. So obviously the basic one is coming up with your knees bent. There's also coming up with your legs straight, and then obviously hovering your heels above the floor, or just scrapping the upward phase altogether and then just doing the downward one. So again, do these to failure. If you feel like you can't get up from the downward phase without jolting yourself, then don't do that exercise. That's a really important point, because we don't want to end up jolting our back. If you are too weak to be able to use your core to get up, then just don't do that part. because otherwise you might do yourself an injury. So if you feel like you're sort of down here and your core just isn't strong enough, don't, out of frustration, just jolt yourself, because that's not going to be good for you. Okay, so let me know how you get on. Send in your comments and your pictures, etc. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 5.